Don't you feel sad when you see someone in their 70s still working? It always makes me a little upset. Because, that wasn't the plan, man. It hit me back when I was living in Hawaii. I was doing, carpentry, and most of the jobs were on the cliffside of Hawaii Kai. And when I say cliffside, I'm not exaggerating. I mean, these homes had crazy amounts of super steep stairs. I even did a job in this one house that had this steep, narrow driveway with a garage at the top. And they installed this rotating platform so that they could drive up on it, and then when they wanted to leave, it would spin their car around so they didn't have to reverse back down. It was crazy. But anyway, I worked with these two guys, Roger and Jose, who were both 70 years old. And we had to go up and down these stairs carrying wooden tools back and forth all day long, every day, 5 days a week. It was tough for me, let alone for these guys who were more than twice my age. And, they were supposed to be resting by then, but they couldn't afford to. Retirement isn't an age, it's a number. And they couldn't afford to stop. These people that have to work in their 70s, it's not that they were careless, they just lived normal lives like you and me. They took care of their families, pay their bills, treat themselves to something nice every once in a while, year after year, without ever knowing that they should be working towards something. Then they wake up one day, 70 years old, and realize the struggle's never going to end. But like I said, it's not their fault, because no one teaches us these things. At most you get a job and you contribute to the 401k up to whatever the employer matches, right? I mean, but even then, is it a traditional or a Roth? You see what I mean? There's no financial literacy. And that's why I left advising and started coaching. That's why I'm so passionate about helping people get out of debt and stop living paycheck to paycheck so that they can invest for their retirement. A lot of people make a decent amount of money, but it just flows out because they don't know any better. Then when they get older and start thinking about retirement, they realize they don't have enough. Imagine what that's like. You just turned 60 and someone mentions retirement, so you check and realize you don't have enough to sustain you 10 years or even 5 years. That's when you start thinking oh crap, well, how much longer do I have to keep doing this? How many more years do I have to keep waking up early to the sound of an alarm with sore feet and an aching back? I see it all the time. I saw a guy just last week, had to be late 60s at least, mixing concrete in the rain. I just feel so bad, man. I wouldn't want to do that. And I know someone that should be retired shouldn't be doing that. It's not right. No one should have to work until they physically can't. That's not why we're here. That feeling I get is why I'm so passionate about sharing what I've learned. Of course I care about my family and I care about my friends, and that means I care about my friends' families. But I also care about my community. I don't want to see you guys suffer all your lives, man. The number of people expected to retire is something like 80% of boomers, 60% of Gen X, 50% of millennials, and 40% of Gen Z. That number shouldn't be going down. It should be going the other way. That right there is proof it's a systemic issue. The system doesn't include a curriculum for financial literacy. That's why I preach budgets and delayed gratification. If you're struggling and sacrificing, you need to have a reason. Something you're working towards, a finish line. You need a clear and specific measurable plan. All I'm trying to do is help you realize that and show you how. Don't think you're too young to think about retirement, because you'll wake up one day and realize it's too late. They say the best time to start investing was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. Stop thinking short term and start taking your money seriously. You owe it to yourself, anyone who depends on you, and anyone who you're going to depend on in old age. Do your future self a favor and make all this sacrifice and stress worth something. If you made it this far, let me know with subscribe. I genuinely appreciate it. Check out the links in the description for some cool apparel and books on money. And as always, you can't seek answers to questions you've never conceived. So subscribe, come along the journey, and we'll see you there.